preview access provided by PlayStation.
Gran Turismo 7.
It's time.
It's almost here.
Yeah.
It's
been a minute.
Yeah. It's just like a month away. March 4th.
So wild.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish my brother was here for this. My brother, it's one of his all-time favorite franchises, Gran Turismo. I will never forget the day he ran into my bedroom, woke my ass up. It's like 9 a.m., throws down my birthday gift. What is it, Bloodworth? The Gran Turismo 3 PS2 bundle.
Wow.
That was my intro into Gran Turismo, and my brother and I played that thing for like years. No joke, years.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Gran Turismo 7, its 25th anniversary.
Nice.
Which I wasn't
Great
aware
time.
of.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so I didn't get hands-on. And 2 in a row, didn't get hands-on. But, they had, basically the way Sony did this is there's a state of play that you probably just watched earlier today, if you're watching this when this goes live. But before that, they also had, so they showed us a state of play early, but before that they had us about an equal amount of time. There's kind of like a private sort of walkthrough with Kazunori Yamauchi.
So jolly.
So it was interesting because the initial presentation was kind of more PowerPoint slideshow-ish, a lot more talking than showing, and then the state of play. It's like, oh, okay, like really get to see the game. But I got kind of more like dirty details and information and intent from the presentation. And one of the things that was interesting, and I hadn't really thought of too much, is he was saying that like this is kind of, at this point compared to like 25 years ago when they started, like car culture's kind of faded away. It's kind of not as big of a thing.
You're right. You're absolutely right. That is wild to think about.
Yeah, and so he's saying that like
LA Auto Show used to be so huge.
Making this like for a new generation to try to like ignite that passion and get people excited. It's like why are cars a big deal? And you can just like every minute, like you can,
that's wild.
Like the sense of love for cars just like oozes out of this man, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's just so passionate about everything.
Yeah.
And so there's some new features in here that are interesting, as well as like all the old stuff that people love, like license tests and all of that are back. He says that there's not like the game overall doesn't have a clear ending. It's made to just like you're saying, just to keep playing.
Years, yeah,
you just
years.
Keep playing and playing and playing and playing.
Totally. I mean, I hope they have the endurance races back. My brother always loved those.
Oh, sure.
100 laps.
So. I would bet so. Yeah. Day one, 400 cars.
400.
Which I know
compared to Forza. What did Forza launch with?
I mean, weird
comparison.
I don't know what Horizon launched with, honestly. Yeah. But I'm hoping that maybe with maybe a side result, a positive result of the car culture kind of diminishing a little bit is that people are not as focused on like the numbers.
Yeah.
I remember like GT6 came out and they were talking like we had like 1,200 cars or something.
Yeah. Well, they always.
But then it was like a lot of them were like weird, like not fully modeled.
Yeah.
They were like old PS2 models in GT5.
My car always gets the shaft. In my glory days when I used to street race, I had a 2000 Civic SI that I slapped a Greddy turbo on there. The 2000 SI is never in video games. It's never represented. So will this Gran Turismo finally be the one that lets me drive my old car? Please, I'm begging you.
Probably not.
Probably not. Probably not. It's
considering there's fewer cars at the start.
It's always like the 04 hatchback SI or like the newer SI. It's like, give me that 2000. They did a 99 and a 2000 SI coupe, and it's like my all-time favorite. I love it.
They have, this isn't too different than before, but they have 3 shops. They have the Brand Central, where you get like kind of all the current cars. They say 2001 and up will be in the Brand Central.
Damn it, 2000.
And then there's the used car area.
This is me. This is where it would be.
Yeah, this is where it would be.
Yeah.
So this is interesting because the rotation of what's available changes like every day.
Fortnite style.
And
that's
the
actually
prices fluctuate.
That's
so they're saying like
but
how
smart.
some like older cars are like more popular now is like so the prices go up based on like the car popularity.
Whoa.
So I don't know like
Interesting.
whether
See
their
how that
systems are
shakes
going to be
out.
are watching what players are doing, or if they're watching what the real world is doing, or like a mix of both.
Yeah.
And then they've got like the kind of like the big fancy showroom for like all the legendary cars,
Nice.
like the stuff throughout history. You know,
Yeah,
those $14 million
Skylines.
Ferraris and things
Yeah.
like that.
Heck yeah.
The old Jeeps in there,
Love that.
stuff like that.
Love that.
The tracks, they've got 34 locations, which is pretty
That seems
good.
like a good amount.
Yeah.
Are
They say 90
those-
different layouts, but sometimes it can just be like very small variations.
Are those 34 separate tracks or like 34 including the same one night, same one day?
You know what I'm saying? It's 34 locations,
separate-
90
Okay.
90 variations. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And that, again, that's day one. Like GT Sport, they've added a lot of stuff too over time, and I'm sure that they'll continue to do that.
That's a really healthy number to launch with, 34 maps.
Yeah.
It's really good.
And a mix of,
Tracks.
obviously the real world ones, as well as like a lot of the like Trial Mountain and stuff, and like a lot of the
Nice.
classic GT fantasy tracks.
Oh my god, I remember all the license quests, those things, because I'm such a completionist where it's like, nope, can't move on till like gold medal this one. It's
Right.
like, ah! Drive myself crazy.
They talked a bit about like some of the graphics options and stuff, but there wasn't too much there that was that different. They did talk about one of the things with the 3D audio that was cool is they talked about like the echoes and reflections will vary based on the material. So like the sound of your car bouncing off of concrete is going to sound different than it's bouncing off of a fence.
What?
Yeah.
All right.
good
Crazy. Yeah. The real driving simulator, dude. Let's go.
The haptics, they're real big on the PS5 haptics.
I bet. This better be a showpiece for haptics.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, I really want to get my hands on it. So they're talking about like differences in surface texture. They're talking about being able to feel the slipping of your front tires. The triggers, they're gonna. So not only are you gonna feel like the resistance like when the ABS is going, but they're saying like the resistance of the brakes varies by car.
Nice.
So cars that have like stiffer brakes, you're gonna feel that difference in the triggers.
Yeah.
You can feel the resonance of the car body through them.
But sometimes it feels like sometimes like Avatar 2 I can only see in an IMAX. I feel like with Gran Turismo, unless I have the full on like driving wheel setup, like I'm missing out here, man.
But that's the thing though. Like now the PS5 haptics is like, unless there's a new wheel to take advantage of these same features.
True.
It's like, okay, now you have actual like a trade-off, a
It
bit.
is a trade-off.
Yeah.
That's like mouse and keyboard, I like my rumble. Do they have mice that rumble? I don't even know. Probably. That's weird though.
I'm sure they do, but yeah, it does feel weird. It does feel weird. So a whole new feature, like a whole new branch of the game, which again is a kind of to welcome people into it and to get newcomers and stuff, is called the cafe.
This is all I want to know about Bloodworth. I'm so intrigued by this.
Yeah.
I saw a little B-roll clip of this. Nice little cozy cafe. What can you do here? What is it all about?
Okay, so it's a whole like mission mode.
Okay.
So you pull out a menu, like the fancy menu,
So awesome.
and there's like this list of things that you have to do.
yeah.
And so once you get through them, and so like they're sort of like trying to deepen your understanding of cars and specific cars and different challenges and things like that. And then once you complete like one of these menus, then the cafe owner comes out.
What?
And then he starts explaining like
Like an NPC comes out?
yeah.
Cool.
And he starts explaining like the culture and the history of these cars. And then they say sometimes the people that actually design certain cars are going to come out and tell you about the cars. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah. And
That's really cool. Have they ever done anything like that?
and it comes back here. They have like a kind of museum section.
Yeah.
Where you can like look through old photographs and stuff. And see, like just really dig into like the history of certain cars and manufacturers.
But I really like this.
But yeah, so this is like 30 missions
Okay, so there's a limited amount in the cafe.
in the cafe.
So it's
yeah.
like 30 specific cars like that they want to highlight.
Yeah, I don't know
And then
if
maybe
the
they'll
mission
add
is like
more.
just each mission is specifically on one car, but
Got it.
yeah.
Very cool. That really intrigues me.
Yeah.
Super hyped on it. And that's obviously separate from your
It's separate from like your
modes and your
regular
campaign
stuff and your campaign and yeah.
That's cool. Cafe. And I love the aesthetic of it all. It's so cozy and warm and welcoming.
I won't get too deep into this, but Yamauchi was like off the chain, like excited about the settings menu where like you do all the tuning and stuff and like switching
drivetrain, all that, front wheel.
Well, not even an upgrade, just like the little tuning, like changing the like the tire pressures and all that kind of thing.
That stuff gets so insane.
But so what they have now, so they said before they kind
insane.
of, they kind of based your the output of those changes on just like some simple formulas.
Yeah.
But now he's saying that they've got like a full simulation running in the background. So like as you're tweaking settings, it's simulating like how that's going to affect your car.
So sick.
And the weight and the aerodynamics and everything that you're doing.
But I can remember fine-tuning the flywheel of like how long it takes to redline before you shift to get that acceleration and speed lined up. Like honestly, that was probably like Gran Turismo 4 maybe was the last time I like really dug into that in a racing game.
He loves it so much, he referred to tweaking the settings as a mini game. Just going through and tweaking a bunch of settings and then clicking the button to see what's going to happen.
That's awesome.
See how your car is going to improve.
That's so good.
So yeah, it's really cool. They have, I feel like they're doing a lot more in terms of allowing people to customize paint jobs because Forza's been on top of that for a long time. But they're saying that like they've removed some of the limitations on like where you could put stickers and they've kind of increased like how many stickers you can put on a vehicle.
Nice.
And so that's really cool. They have like a whole basically showcase section for user content. And one of the things, there's a screenshot of this, but there's like a map. So that like your sort of main menu to get to all the different features is like a simple map.
Nice.
It shows like, okay, here's the brand dealership over here. Here's the cafe, and you just like kind of click to whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Online play and stuff, and then I think the showcase is one of those things. The photo mode is crazy.
Oh my god, I bet it is.
The photos,
insane.
It's probably one of the most complex photo modes I've seen, and the amount of stuff that you can do with it.
Shinobi is out there salivating right now.
Yeah. They showed at the end of the state of play, which I don't do too much recap of the state of play because people have just watched it. But they talk about scapes. Are you familiar with scapes in Gran Turismo?
No.
I think they might have introduced this in like GT5. So basically, they're like their locations essentially for taking photos.
Nice.
And so they essentially it's sort of like they've taken like a 3D photo of like a real place, and then you put your car model into it. And it feels like you're looking at the real thing. Like the car model reflects the surroundings and everything accurately. 2,500 scapes.
What?
To take photos in.
Probably all over the world, like Tokyo, Shanghai,
and just like
London.
some of these places, like they was like in the state of play when you get to see it, it's like you see all of these different spots and you're like, where the heck even is that? That place looks amazing.
Yeah.
Like just the amount of work that they had to go to like photograph these places
Bloodworth?
or source these places.
Whoever's job that was.
Yeah.
Yo. Living the dream. Holy crap.
Yeah, so there's a lot of cool stuff with the photo mode as well. One of the things that they're doing new is the replay system.
Nice.
So they have the standard replays where they're like, okay, on this track, these are where the camera angles are, and the replay is going to look the same. But they also have what they call a music replay. And so you essentially like pick a song, and then they have an AI that changes the camera angles.
That's hilarious.
Based on the rhythm of the song.
Yeah. And so Imagine Dragons.
Right.
Guaranteed.
There's a ton of music in this game. Did I write down the music?
Is Imagine Dragons
music,
in it?
I'm guessing they are.
Tell me now.
There's so much stuff in here. 75 artists, 300 tracks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
There it is. But yeah, so they're saying with the music replay thing that it's not going to be the same every time. Like even if you pick the same track because the AI is doing it on the fly.
That is out of control.
Yeah, it's going to look different
shit.
every time. Yeah. But then on top of that, there's another mode called Music Rally. And this was a direct response to what feedback from the community, because they're like, they got all these cool songs in the game, but when I'm racing, when I'm trying to hit times and like shave seconds off, like I want to hear
The motor.
engines. I want to hear the tires.
Music
Yeah.
off.
Music off.
Shut it off.
So because
Yes,
that
blood.
happens, they have a
Yes.
separate mode called Music Rally.
Yeah.
And so literally, it's like there's specific stages. So like you play a song on a specific track. And so it's timed out. And so it's almost like a checkpoint race where, so like you have these beats counting down.
Yeah.
And so you have to get to a certain point to like replenish the beats. But it's just all about, it's not about like getting the best time. It's just about like driving and listening to a song.
This sounds weirdly fun.
Yeah.
I'm super into this.
Just to like relax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like a good warm up. Like start your day out with
Yeah.
one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if like, yeah, if you, exactly, like if you want to, you know, before you get ready for work, it's like, you know,
Yeah.
what, I just want to go for a quick drive.
Yes.
I just need to go for a quick drive.
I love that, Blood.
Get my head straight.
I love that.
I don't really like the way the animation is on the beats. Like I feel like it's a little bit like for that reason because it's supposed to be relaxing. It's like, oh, this is like pulsing
Okay.
beat number here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a cool idea.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how many there are of those, but I'm really looking forward to trying that out.
Yeah, it seems like a cool little addition. Something new.
And then that's kind of the top line of the stuff that there was before the state of play. I don't want to get too much into repeating state of play stuff. They do have 2-player split screen, which I think is great. I don't think
Wow.
GT has done that a lot,
2-player split screen.
which is sweet.
That's a shout out because those visuals with those frames per second, like to get that split screen, like is it compromised at all? Did they show any of this? How
They
did it
showed
look?
a little. They do show a little bit of it in the state
Does
of
it
play.
still
You
look
can see it. It's like
amazing?
side by side. It still looks good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it vertical or horizontal?
They showed vertical.
Crazy.
Wow.
Wow.
And then it was funny because in the first presentation when they showed like ray tracing versus performance, which I think they're basically saying they're only applying ray tracing to stuff that's not like quick response, so like replays and that kind of thing.
Okay.
But at first when I was like looking at the side by sides, like I don't know if it's the video compression or what, but like the only thing I see with the ray tracing side is it looks blurrier because it's running at a lower frame rate.
Got it.
But then in the state of play, they show a much like closer up shots of the cars, and like you could just like really see like the reflections.
Is this
mostly?
Also on PlayStation 4?
Yeah, everything they're showing is PlayStation 5 though.
Got it.
So don't really know what the PS4 version looks like.
Yeah.
But the one thing I do want to highlight for you for sure. Well, two things. Number one is with the parts, because you're talking about upgrading. There's like 650 aerodynamic parts,
Nice.
130 types of wheels,
Jeez.
and then 1,200 colors of paint. Because you know they do the authentic paint chips.
Nice.
Remember? Have you ever like earned a paint chip in a Gran Turismo game? It's like one of the funniest
Not in
things.
so long, Bloodworth. It's again like I
Yeah.
played Prologue quite a bit, and then I just dabbled with Sport a tiny bit. But other than that, I've been away for so long.
But the one thing, the last big thing I wanted to get to was the weather.
Yeah. The
He-
sunrise and sunsets looked phenomenal.
Yes,
My
but here's the
God.
thing. In the state of play, he stops for like 2 minutes just to explain how weather works. Like how precipitation falls to the ground
He loves
and
it.
evaporates and forms into clouds in the sky. Because he's saying like they're essentially simulating the process of cloud formation to influence their weather systems.
Yeah. it's
So the cloud cover you
Oh my
see is simulated, and the precipitation is simulated based on the region of the world that the track is in, and all of that kind of craziness. They're also simulating star charts at night.
Yeah, I remember that.
The sun
from
and the moon
last
and the
ones.
planets now. The
my
planets
God.
are going to be accurately simulated.
Which was the one where you could have a little buggy on the moon?
That was 6.
Oh, 6.
6.
Okay.
You did
I
that.
did
yeah,
play
yeah.
that a
I
little
did
bit.
like
Okay.
that. Some people
Yeah.
don't like that. I like them doing that. And then but then all that stuff, all that weather craziness,
Yeah.
it affects the temperature of the track and your grip.
Yeah.
And your aerodynamics.
My
they
goodness.
showed like a thing where like you could like see like the wind coming off of a car, like the full like cone
Yeah.
or whatever, and like all the little spirals and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's going to change based on the temperature and the humidity and everything going on there.
Unreal.
And then
Not surprising, but unreal.
and they also, some other games have been doing this. but I feel like Gran Turismo has been a little bit behind on is puddles and things. So they've showed like
Spider-Man.
puddles are going to accumulate, where they should accumulate on the tracks, and then they're going to dry over time, and then you're going to have big tracks for like the Nürburgring where it's going to be raining on one half of the track, but it's so big it might not be raining on the other half of the track, and you're going to have to deal with that, the change in the grip difference in the tires and everything.
That's dope.
So yeah, so it's an overwhelming amount of stuff
that
they've got going on. But
can you tell me a little bit about progression? I mean, are you unlocking additional races if you go into kind of just the, quote unquote campaign side of things?
Yeah, I don't know how like the main campaign. They talked about so many different modes.
I bet, yeah.
Like they talk about like having missions and things like that. And they talked about the cafe, and they talked about the license test, which sounds like it's in a whole kind of separate thing. But yeah, in terms of like how like the main campaign, I'm not entirely sure. Oh wait, no, they do in the state of play. They do say you start with they give you you get a compact car.
Yeah.
And then essentially, like, you take your winnings, and then like,
God,
you
I
invest
remember
in new
starting
cars
with
and
that
stuff.
damn Miata in Gran Turismo 3 and racing that thing a million times. God. So funny.
Yeah. So I don't know how I'm going to tackle this thing when the review code comes along.
It's a beast.
It's a beast.
Well, I kind of like, it may be a little bit alarming. You were talking about that they cycle in cars and take them away.
But the used car dealership.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you won't always. That is actually.
I'm actually really intrigued.
I'm not alarmed, but I did have a situation in one of the previous games when I was reviewing it towards like there was a mission or something where like I required a certain kind of car.
Yeah.
And like,
you just
and I was just like,
it.
I can't buy this.
Totally.
I can't find this right now. It's not available at the moment.
Yeah.
Or like the ones that were available were too expensive, but there wasn't
Yeah.
anything that I could get in the use. Something like that. I just remember it's like, man, this is a little bit. But so hopefully they've kind of ironed that out for 7.
I just feel like it's also, this game is in such a great spot to not be a live service game, like no, but like event.
They have the whole
based.
sport mode. Sport is like a mode in this now.
Crazy.
And that's one of the things. So I did miss because like basically as we're shooting this, they were doing Q&A sessions. It was like I had to come in, I had to do shoots, so I couldn't do the Q&A. So I'm curious what other information comes out about that, because one of the things I would have asked is, because GT Sport was live service game, was a game that you just keep coming back to and keep competing and you invest in so much in your profile and that it's like, how does that carry over at all into the sport mode of GT7? Like, how do you transition those players into GT7? Do they have any kind of bonuses or perks, or does their profile somehow come over and they keep continuing at whatever level they're at?
Like a VIP thing. They get like a different background or something.
And I don't mean just like Need for Speed and Forza. It's like, oh, we gifted you a car. I mean, it's like, no, you're like your actual progression that you've done so far. I'm curious how that works, because that's a big thing that people have put into. It really is. That's all you put on PS4.
Yes.
That's what people have been investing in. So how do you carry that over now?
Yeah, I can't stress enough. Like, accumulating cars in Gran Turismo and your collection is like half of it. It's so fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't sound like the collection carries over, but I do wonder about other aspects in that. But
I'd like a fresh start, because I've been gone for a long time.
Yeah.
So this really does feel like a new beginning. It's Gran Turismo 7, sure, but it does feel kind of like a new.
Yeah. The one thing I will say, and it's no fault of the game itself, if anything, it's a fault of how strongly they did in the past, is the car models just don't impress me anymore.
The car models?
Yeah. They just don't. Like, I have seen like detailed stitching on seats for like 10 years now.
I know.
And all of the I'm sure if I put them side by side, I would see the differences. But we've been at such a high level now of modeling that I just don't know.
Because it's always just ahead of its time. Like, when Gran Turismo 3 came out, it was like, I remembered like, Mom, Dad, look, it looks real. Like, obviously, if you play that now, no. But every time one of these does come out, it's that feeling, which we've had a lot.
That's the thing. It's like, I don't have that feeling anymore. It's like, now I look at it and it's like, okay, well, it looks like a video game.
Yeah. That's funny. That's funny.
It's like, I feel like I got that sense so much more from past Gran Turismos.
Yeah. It's just...
Not that it doesn't look gorgeous, not that it doesn't look detailed. It's just, we've done it.
Yeah,
We've accomplished that,
totally.
and so now it's like really hard to
Yeah.
like raising the bar, and it's like it feels like things like the weather and the physics and the tuning stuff, like these invisible things that I won't probably notice when I play the game.
Yep.
Are where the improvements are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totally. When's the date? Do we know?
March 4th.
March 4th. That is imminent.
Yeah, PS4 and PS5
That is so imminent.
coming soon.